Hello, viewers. My name is Videliz Njoki, and this is my sign name. Welcome to our show, The Voice Show, where we share different stories, allow people to advocate, and we hope you're going to watch us and allow us to educate all of you and teach and open your mind about different topics that we have. Today we have our guests. Maybe we're going to allow her to give us a brief introduction of herself. Hello. Welcome back to this show of ours. Can you please tell us about yourself?
My name is Joy Gahenda Chinyuzi, and I am currently. Should I introduce myself with work? But let me introduce myself with work. I am. Yes. I am currently.
Tell us what you do. Yes.
Cool. I am currently the project manager at KUZA DADA, and so what that means is I run girls' camps. Yeah. And I'm a sister. I like saying I'm a sister.
Well, maybe you can give us a brief song, maybe because you love music. Can you give us a short song or something for us to hear?
A short song, a song, a song.
Yes.
You know, my to-go-to song is always, I've got the joy down in my.
You know, when you see Videliz and you try to tell her to sing, she has the worst voice. My voice, let's just leave that story up there. So please tell us. You've said you work with KUZA DADA, where you empower girls. Can you tell us something or paint for us a picture for us to understand your job?
So I volunteered for it was a girls' camp called Glow Camp for a very long time, for I think for 2-3 years, and then over COVID there was a break, and because there was a break, the people who were running it went back home. So we had done a couple of camps in different places, and so there was need to start doing girls' camps again. So a group of women came together and said we want to do girls' camps again. And so we revisited the curriculum, we revisited the strategies for the company. We came up with the name KUZA DADA. I'm hoping soon we'll have even KUZA, maybe KUZA Kaka or KUZA Ndug, I'm not sure, but like a boys' version of the camps. And so, so KUZA DADA came to fruition last year. Yeah, last year we had our first camp in Muranga. And then we had a second camp in April in Kiambu. And now we are almost having a third camp in Eldoret in August. Yeah.
Wow, that is very interesting. Can you tell us something about the KUZA DADA? How did you even come up with the camp and maybe to clarify with my interpreter, the KUZA DADA initiative, this is how I sign it. This is the sign name I've given to it. So, can you please tell us, before, when you were volunteering, you had given yourself, then you joined, before you were doing something, before you joined the volunteer work, and that's how later you decided to come with KUZA DADA. Can you tell us about your story?
So what made me volunteer, even get to know Glow Camp, was an accident. I was told by a friend about a camp, and in fact he didn't even say there's a camp. What happened is I was going through a weird place. My mind was in a weird place. It was a bit of a hard period for me, and then this friend of mine told me, I would like you to talk to someone. So they do things around girls, and they run a girls camp for 5 days, and I think you would enjoy yourself there. So I have volunteered your name, and then what you're going to do is if you are interested, you will call this lady and then meet her up. And so I thought, why not? Because he had gone to so much trouble. So I picked up the phone. I didn't want to, but I did. I picked up the phone, called this lady, then she asked to have a meeting so that we talk about why I am interested. And yeah, so I met with this lady. Her name is Kavi, and she's now one of the directors for KUZA DADA. And I landed at camp, and my first camp was actually in Eldoret, where we're going back to. And this time I'll be running the camp. I'm so excited about that. And so I went to the camp when I was in my mind was a bit cloudy. But then I decided, I made a choice that I was just going to fully get into the camp. I wouldn't care what is happening, just dive and enjoy myself, or not enjoy myself. I wasn't sure what I was signing up for, but I ended up enjoying myself, and my mind, like my mind got a breather. My mind got to breathe and relax, and I thought through it and my position, and I realized, wait, there are people in worse conditions than I was. And I, not to minimize what I was going through, but I thought if I can make a difference by being in these camps, as the girls had said I had, then I actually mattered. And what was happening was my brain was saying I didn't matter, but then I actually mattered. So that's how I started working with Kabi and Kate, basically the entire KUZA DADA organization.
Wow, maybe I want to move you back a little bit and tell us, before you said you were experiencing some challenges before you, then your friend, I want to understand something. I want you to make us understand maybe the stress which you are going through, because sometimes when you meet young girls, they go to school, when they come back home, they don't want to do the dishes and they feel like there's a lot of work and that's stressing them. Maybe they sometimes they even complain that they don't want to continue doing the dishes. Maybe they want to go to camp. Can you please explain to us some of the stress which you're having? Was it washing dishes, or what was really happening with you?
So it was definitely stress. And I also didn't want to go home. But not because I needed to wash dishes. but because so I was in uni. I was in, I think, my second year, about my first second year about, and then I had gotten into a relationship, and it was a terrible it was such a bad relationship. When I think about it now, it was so bad. I should laugh, but it was just terrible. And so when I was in this terrible relationship, I had a pregnancy scare. Now, I come from a very conservative background, and even a pregnancy scare, first of all, how the pregnancy scare happened is a big deal from where I come from. And so now I am going home. I'm thinking about going home. I think I am pregnant. I'm not too sure. My then boyfriend is a lot. He was a lot. Maybe because, I don't know, there was just so much happening. And then I had exams. And then I was told that there's an upcoming trip for school. And I had been nominated to join it, but only if I passed, like, because of grades. So only if I succeeded. And so I'm thinking, will I even go for this trip? Because it was for like 6 months. So even if I get it, will I go for it if I am already pregnant? And then how do I start telling my parents? It was just so dramatic in my brain. It was so much. And so when I was so this friend of mine noticed I was not talking as much. I wasn't around people as much. And so when he suggested the camp, I don't think he really understood what it meant for me. He knew a bit of what was happening, but not everything. And so I decided, why not? Usually I wouldn't, but this time I thought, why not? It will be a different location from Nairobi, a different space from my boyfriend, ex now, but different space. and I would be able to process and just calm down. And that is what happened. I had such fun. Such fun. It was such fun. Oh, and my favorite part is there's this envelopes at camps, they're called affirmation envelopes, and then they are put on this wall and it looks so pretty. But then at the end of the week you take away this envelope that has affirmations from everyone. Okay, not really everyone, but different people, and most times there's no name written, and there was such wonderful words of encouragement there. It made me feel whole, like it made things easier for me. I felt wonderful again.
So, so when you so when you say the words that you were reading were motivating, did you feel like you were giving up, or so when you saw the words which were like the affirmation words, that maybe they brightened your day and made you feel better, or maybe it's funny or it's serious, but sometimes parents, you can say, they are harsh because girls really fear becoming pregnant. But lucky enough, you had a friend who saw you were going through something which was just not normal. So you can imagine a situation where there is no support or any system that people that can really come and be there for you. What is going to happen to them?
Um, so I know for a fact that support systems are very important, but also I know that some people do not have support systems or are not aware of the support systems they have. No one, absolutely no one wants to see you die. You and the viewers, you. No one wants to see that. And even if, assuming you are crossing the road, and then there's a car that's coming really fast, and then you just stop in the middle of the road, I don't think that driver would actually still come and hit you. Chances are high this driver would swerve. And they don't even know you. They will take the risk with their car, but they won't hit you. And that's how precious people are. So I think most times we don't realize the support systems around us. And that would be something like, say, your neighbor, who most times we don't talk to our neighbors. It could be your parents, who sometimes you don't speak to them. Sometimes it could be a word that you see, or if you're a Christian, you hold on to your faith. Sometimes you have to really look for inspiration to keep going. Sometimes you really have to search for it and ask yourself, why am I even here? And if you can't find yourself, the reason for why, then you have to ask more questions to just make you realize that you are important, because you have to remember you are important. I am not a specialist in, mental health, well-being, but I know for a fact that once we start putting ourselves down, once we recognize and tell ourselves, yes, those people said I am this, like the pressure I was feeling with my parents, that they would think this one is a spoiled child, that this one is just going to give us children and we'll have them all in this house. Like that space I was in, that was in my head. It didn't happen in reality. And if I was pregnant and I got home, maybe the reality would be different. Sometimes our mind just amplifies things. It makes things so big. And maybe when you are in a dark place, you need to just think about it and realize it is in your mind. It is not the reality. It is mostly, largely in your mind. So, yeah.
But people always say that when you think about something too hard, then maybe it's going to happen in real life, in this world. Because sometimes you can maybe think, it's not even happening, but then it truly happens. Maybe in your situation, you were lucky. You were thinking maybe you were pregnant and you had the pregnancy scared, but you were not sure about this, if you were pregnant or not. But sometimes you can imagine that you have the situation and everything is happening, and then you realize you have a pregnancy scare, and then later you see the results which are showing it is positive. But anyway, let us have a short break and we'll be back very soon. Welcome back as we continue with this very interesting show before we went for the break. So I would like us to continue with our discussion. Sometimes I always say in an honest way that we ignore some things which kind of come to us and we don't really want to follow our instincts. So, and we forget everything, but let's leave that aside and let's continue. So, before we were talking about mental health, now we know we're living in a world where generation after generation, like our parents' generation, have cared and have brought us up. And now the generation that we have now, they keep on complaining that our parents, they're not really understanding us and we are having some problems. And parents say they were still young, they were once young and now they have grown. Can you tell us something, or can you explain to us, like you as a person in future, you would want to have a child, and what do you think is going to be different for you compared to the past generation that we had?
So I will answer the first one you asked me before the break and then this one as well. So first, assuming you are in your bed, okay? And then you think, I need to go to work. When I'm in the office, I will send this email, I will write this, I will do this, I will do this, I will do this, I will do that. You're still in bed. Blah, 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 blah. And your brain will get tired, right? And sometimes you'll even sleep again because you have worked so hard in your brain, but you didn't move. You didn't leave the bed. What is in your mind will literally stay there up until you action it. It does not have a life of its own until you action it. For instance, I keep saying I will go back to the gym. Have I? The answer is no. Because it's in my mind. I have run on that treadmill in my mind, but really I haven't. And so going back to the situation I was in, I realized that I was not pregnant when I came back to Nairobi because now environment, everything, so things relaxed, right? But then when I was in that moment, I really thought I was pregnant, but I wasn't. The only reason why I thought I was pregnant is because I had sex. If I didn't have sex, I wouldn't think I was pregnant. So again, it's actions, and so that's why I'm saying, unless you action what is in your mind, it will not happen. When you're sitting in your bed and you're thinking you are a terrible person, you're in a dark place, you will off yourself. All these dark images they're just in your mind. But your mind is very powerful, but it cannot form a life of its own. You have to action it. Oh yeah, and everyone is strong. I feel like everyone is really strong. You can work with your mind to move past darkness slowly. And there's help people. There's help available online. There's help available within friend circles. There's help when you look for it. So I would encourage us to look for the help. The difference between our parents and now, the difference between generations and how we view mental health illnesses or all sorts of illnesses that are not visible to the eye, I think the difference now is exposure. I have a funny story. It's not funny, huh? It's funny, terrible. So I asked this person to make me, he prints t-shirts, to make me a t-shirt. And I sent him an image from, I think it's, from Pinterest. And it had the sign language for love, okay? It had the sign for love. And I was really excited I'm getting my t-shirt because it was written in sign. And it had like a love heart and then the LOVE. I want to sign E, but I'm not sure about it. I think it's E. So it had all the signs. And I read through it, then I sent it to him. So I go and pick up my t-shirts. And the signs, I don't know what happened, but they did not spell love. And I don't know what. So I looked at this t-shirt. The moment I picked it, it had the love heart, right? And then it had signs. So since it was in the dark, I just saw the heart and I was like, "Yay, I have my t-shirt." Went home. I opened this t-shirt, and literally it was just random alphabet words, 4 of them. Alphabet letters, random ones. So I called him and I asked what happened. Then he says, "I didn't even realize what that was. He didn't know what sign language is. And in that case, it was a matter of ignorance on his end, as is with very many people, because we cannot defend ourselves with ignorance anymore. The internet is there. You open TV, you see different kinds of illnesses, you see different kinds of people. We do not have the ignorance that our parents did, and so we do not have any defense when we make mistakes like the guy who made the t-shirt. We cannot joke around like that anymore, and that is a big difference. Now we are more informed. The world is a global village. There's access to information, there's access to resources. We just have to stop being lazy and reach out to them. So if I am a parent now and I find that my child is not I don't know, your typical pictured child. My child either has autism or is sick in one way or the other, or maybe is born blind. Anything can happen, really. Whatever happens, I have a child and this is how my child is born. I think it is up to me to look for resources to support this child. So that is the big difference between then and now. Now we have information, we have resources, and we have to reach to get these resources. We can't be lazy about these things. I'm not saying our parents were lazy. I'm saying they didn't have access to information. We do. Yeah.
Viewers, you have clearly heard that it is impossible. We know our parents have really cared for us and they've really brought us up. But I believe from what she has explained very clearly, she's told us something very important, that in the that now we are, maybe if you can't access information or you don't have the knowledge. So sometimes, so our parents will see some things and they will not really understand, and maybe that brings the misunderstanding. But in the world of now, we have parents who believe that they can go get some information or research and get all the full information. So you've mentioned something about mental health from KUZA DADA. And you've also said that you're thinking of having maybe KUZA DADA, KUZA Kaka. What are your contribution towards these to make sure that there is inclusion for persons with disabilities in general? Because if maybe they can access your camp and participate, or is it only for people without disabilities?
So at KUZA DADA, we have different things to make everyone feel, well, all the girls who come feel included. So at first, we had, i.e. the encouragement envelopes. You come to camp, we put you in family groups, and then you have a family leader. And we thought we are doing great. And then we had a different camp running that only had deaf girls attending that camp. And so the first camp for KUZA DADA, we had an inclusive camp, the one in Muranga. We had both hearing and unhearing people in the same camp. That was very interesting. It was hard. It was so hard. It was hard because we did not have learning on different cultures. We were very different people all together. It was just hearing people and unhearing people, and then people have different mindsets. It was a bit hard. But what was very interesting was that the students, again, there were facilitators who were hearing and unhearing, and there were students who were also hearing and unhearing. So the students who attended this camp were very open-minded. These girls were open to learning sign language, and they were these are girls who are teenagers. You know how they say teenagers are rough and things? No. These teenagers reached out to the deaf students, and there was some sort of communication going there, and you don't even understand how, but there was communication, there was interaction. Then now the next camp was in April, and I think we grew because as an organization we took priority of teaching the facilitators the different cultures and asking the hard questions between these two different cultures, the hearing and unhearing. And we took that step so that everyone can feel included. And during the planning processes, we made sure to consult to consult with a deaf person who then informed us what we should do to make camp. Okay, that deaf person was you, who then informed us on how we should make camp more accessible. And this camp was so good. It was so good. There was interaction. People were speaking to each other in different languages. Yes, like hearing and not hearing. Different languages. People were writing letters. People were communicating. It was very interesting to watch girls come together in a leadership camp and learning from each other. And so even in Eldoret, we are in the planning process, and we are reaching out to the deaf communities there as well. We are very intentional about that. I know that we slacked with interpreters. We didn't have enough interpreters, but we're looking into that as well, because KUZA Dada is extremely serious, very serious. I know I'm laughing, but we're very serious about inclusion. We are starting first with the deaf community. We are open to people with different types of abilities. Honestly, I feel like the more, the merrier. Yeah, we'll always find ways to. If you come to the camp and say you cannot see, don't worry, we will find a way to accommodate you. That's what we do. That's our camp culture. We accommodate.
Viewers, you have heard that the opportunity is here, and it's not only limiting to people without disabilities. So now I want to tell, so every day we get to learn, and if you get to ask questions, then you learn something. And it's good for us to keep on sharing this knowledge than just sitting in ignorance and saying you don't know or you don't have the information. So as you've seen and you've heard clearly from our guests, who has said that we have the deaf community and we have the hearing world. So and I've realized that they both communities kind of share the same things. The deaf have the challenges which the girls have, and the hearing community girls have challenges too. So they have included and accommodated each and every person. They've not left out other people. They have included everyone, and we are making this world a better place. So now I know we're coming to the end of the show soon, but please tell us maybe the plan that you have or your next steps in terms of education in KUZA DADA, and tell us if you have something which you can inform our viewers for them to know, maybe create some awareness to them.
Right. So I will look at the camera now. So our camps are inclusive, as I have said, and we do not joke about inclusion. We are serious about it. We are serious about creating safe spaces for girls. We are aware that this is just 5 days, but in these 5 days, you are sure that if you come to this space, no matter how you look, no matter your age, we are, okay, fine, we have a bit of an age bracket, but as long as you are a teenager, you are welcome to our camp. If you are between ages 18 to 22, you are welcome to apply as a facilitator for girls. For women, you are welcome to apply, because we intend to make this a safe space, as safe as possible. Now, you come to camp, you come with, of course, your personal belongings, and our rates are very, affordable, because it's like 1,000 shillings for 5 days. Currently, we are working with the dates of 15th to 22nd. Yeah. 17th, sorry, it's 17th. 17th to 22nd of August. It is during the school holidays. So when you come, our aim is that you feel safe. Just for 5 days, we know the world is a very rough place for girls. But for 5 days, this will be a spot where you do not have to walk around worried about your safety. And you will come and learn different things, from self-esteem to HIV/AIDS to GBV and mental health awareness. We have counselors on base, women. We have different professionals, doctors. So you are welcome. Honestly, I am very excited to be able to be in this space because we host women and girls and we accommodate them and we take care of them for 5 days. Yeah. So that's the plan.
The deaf community. Now, if you want to get more education here in the country, please join us. Don't miss this opportunity. Sometimes you say you want the opportunities to open, but now I am here to tell you that don't wait anymore because the opportunity is finally open. Now, we should get our final remark from our guest. Can you please tell us or tell something to the young sisters who are watching you? Maybe they're growing up wanting to be same as you. Tell them something, and please tell our parents something. Maybe, and also talk parents who have children with disability and all other parents who have young girls. Can you give them like a final remark as we closing the show?
Um, that is a very big thing to do. But so let me start with parents. Most of us are religious people, and most religions preach love in different forms, but the essence of love is the same. The basis of love is the same. The way you love your parents, the way you love your spouse, the way you love, I don't know, a neighbor, the way you love anyone you love, the essence of love is the same. It is care, it is patience, those things. I would encourage you who has a child with different forms of disability to tap into the different forms of love because it is hard. But at the end of the day, you have enough love for this child. You have enough love for your sister, for your sibling. You have enough love for them. And when it gets hard, tap into your support system. Create a support system. It can be your family. If you do not have that, it can be the area chief, the administrators. There's different support groups for people going through different issues right now, honestly. And you can tap into that, and I feel like that would be a good place to start. Again, I am no expert, but I think that the best place to start is to establish a community around you to make sure that you are safe. So if you are a parent who has a child with one form of disability or the other, seek a community and then build it from there, because you're not alone. You really, really are not alone in this. There's different forms of it, but you're not alone. The other one would be if I am speaking to my young sisters, the one thing I keep saying over and over and over is give time. Just give time. You are, I don't know, 13. You are 18. You are 27. If you're 13, you will get to 18, then you'll get to 27. There's no jumping. And all these processes, you will experience them. And sometimes it is terrible, it is low, and you feel like you're not doing enough. And sometimes you feel like you are on top of the world, and it can't get better. But it does. It gets better, and it gets worse. It's a seesaw. You just have to remember who you are. If you do not know who you are, everyone will tell you who you are. Everyone will tell you who you are. From the makanga atasema uni size yangu, atakwambia wewe ni nani, to the teacher at school who will tell you are smart or will tell you are not smart. Everyone will tell you. To the coach who will tell you can't run, to another person who will tell you are so fast. You have to decide who you are. Otherwise, everyone will tell you. Literally, you all have an opinion. So you have to first be able to know who you are. Establish yourself as an individual such that if you're in trouble, I can ask you, who made you do this? And you say, that was my decision. It was a bad one, but it is mine. It was not decision ya Rende. It was not decision ya the whole people. It's mine. That's how you start knowing yourself. And then eventually, no one will tell you. They will tell you who they think you are, but you know who you are. So give time. and know who you are. Okay, that's a lot. I've said a lot. Okay.
Viewers, I hope you've captured what has been said to us. See you on the next show. Goodbye.